The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Glory to you, O Lord. Jesus said to his disciples, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and decay destroy, and thieves break in and steal. But store up treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor decay destroys, nor thieves break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there also will your heart be. The lamp of the body is the eye. If your eye is sound, your whole body will be filled with light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be in darkness. And if the light in you is darkness, how great will the darkness be?" The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
It's a challenging little gospel for us. I mean, it's no more challenging than what we've encountered this week. It, in fact, continues the challenge that Jesus hears preaching the Sermon on the Mount. And we're getting some sense here of this kind of twofold reality, who God is and who we are made to reveal him to be. And here it's, I don't know, he's going after one of the common temptations here in terms of living out our lives to God. Again, part of it is just this, the narrative that Jesus wants to give and how it brushes up against the narratives of his day. I'm going to say that, like, we all live our lives as a story. But are we living in the right story? Right? What are we, some of the questions like, what are we living for? What do we think success in life is? Right? What ladder have we put, what wall have we put our ladder against and we're climbing? Right? Do we look around and see whether or not there are different walls? We just kind of climbing the ladder on the wall that everybody else is climbing, right? Is our perception of success the same as the people around us, right? We don't often do that us versus them here, right? Except to say there may be an us versus them distinction, and the us, we, the church, have to serve the them. We have to love the world into life. But if we know that that's our mission, what sense would it be to look around and see what other people are doing, what they have, how they're living, what they're living for, and then desire it? Doesn't make much sense at all. And Jesus is drilling down on that point. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth. Right? What is he talking about? He's talking about money. He's talking about riches. He's talking about comforts. He's talking about pleasures. Right? This is what the world has to offer. Right? A lot of shiny things. A lot of shiny things that tarnish after whatever. I wear a ring. I never clean it, but I'm told I should. And usually I'm told I should every other month. It's like, I don't care, but what is just to say that what the world has to offer fades very quickly. We lose it very quickly. We don't have to remember, don't necessarily have to remember that you never see a U-Haul following a hearse. You don't necessarily have to remember that to know that everything you have is always kind of, the treasures of the world are always slipping through your fingers like dust, right? You go to grasp it and it slips away. This is the nature of those things. You pursue them, they're vain pursuits. They're vain pursuits. And they're not worthy of you. Certainly, they're not worthy of anyone, but they're certainly not worthy of the people called by God to shine his light into the world. Because we have better things to think about. We have better things to worry about. Right? We've got more important tasks at hand. But store up treasures in heaven. Right? What does Jesus mean by this? I think it I think we struggle with this a little bit. What does it mean to store up treasures in heaven? It means that, our hearts are given over to God, and our successes, the successes of our lives, are successes in the things that matter to God and in our relationship with Him and in the mission that He's calling us to live out and embody. So we don't lose those things. We have growth in faith. Who's going to take that away? We have growth in hope. Who's going to take that away? We have growth in love. Who's going to take that away? Nothing and no one can take that away from us. The progress that we make there. That's storing up treasure in heaven. That's what it means to store up treasure in heaven. We're just totally focused on God and His way, the building of His kingdom, the living of His will. That we're growing from wealth to ridiculous wealth. Right? We're going from riches to riches as we pursue God and things of God. Right? That's storing up treasure in heaven. And you know what? We get to enjoy that treasure now. Do we not? We do. Do we not? Do we not? Ron and Martha? Yeah. Everybody else? No. So it's fine. I have to just preach the twice long homily. It's fine. I'm okay. I can do it. I can do it even this morning. No, that's right. We get to enjoy it now. And can I say, if you're not enjoying it now, you're not doing something right. There's something wrong if you're not enjoying it now. If you're not enjoying the treasures of heaven now, you're not doing it right. I'm serious. I'm serious about this. This is a big problem for some Christians. Some would-be Christians. We have God. We have God. He's pouring His own life into us. We live by His Holy Spirit. We don't have love, joy, peace, and the rest. We don't have a growing faith, hope, and love. There's a great challenge, of course, that St. Paul issues in his letter to the Corinthians. I mean, again, with the beatings, okay, but why is it that St. Paul can offer this list, right? He's giving his resume, right? I'm still more, far greater labors, far more imprisonments, far worse beatings, and numerous brushes with death. This is my resume. You want that resume? You do. You do. Yeah, I know you're nervous. I know, but you do. You do, but it's only if we grasp what God is calling us to do and to be that we want that resume as well. Of course, we can be scared of it. That's fine. He didn't pursue, now this is it. He didn't pursue this for its own sake. St. Paul suffers these things out of love. He's driven by love. He knows what his call is. He knows that he is made to be a light to the world. And he has to go. He has to go. Look at his sufferings, and he tells you what his deepest sufferings were. And apart from these things, there is the daily pressure upon me of my anxiety for all the churches. Who is weak, and I am not weak? Right? We should ask this question. Who is suffering, and I am not suffering? Do we know the people around us, they're suffering? How are we not suffering if they're suffering? See, he's a light to the world. That's all that matters to him. Right? Someone's weak in the faith. He's weak for them. He's weak for them. He's desperate for them. Right? He's totally for the other. Who is led to sin and I'm not indignant? Who's being picked off and I can't stand it? Right? This is St. Paul. And the rest is he's just willing to do it. He's willing to suffer whatever love brings his way. But we have to fix, as Jesus says, we have to fix our eye on God. To fix our eye on God, not the shiny things that kind of flitter around, come in and out of our lives. Not the things of the world, they're passing away. But the things of God, keep our eye on Him. Because if we're looking somewhere else, we're going to be led astray. Right? That's what he says. Take your eyes off God, you're going to be led astray. Keep your eyes on God, that your whole body will be filled with light. Right? We don't, of course, the rest is darkness. Because at the end of the day, there's only one way, and it's Jesus' way. It's the way of life, and it's the way of light. And nothing else works. That's who we were made to be. Right? Made in the image and likeness of God. That's what it looks like in the flesh. And that's what it has to look like now in our flesh. Life given totally over to God, dedicated totally to God and His purposes. Totally, right? Our yes, our primal yes is to God and Him alone. And then living in His service and giving ourselves away for the world. Like St. Paul, giving ourselves away recklessly in the cause of love. Is it reckless? It's not reckless, but I have to say it because even to us, that looks reckless. Would that we learn to live as a Christian people in such manner that one day we'll be able to say, just love, not reckless. Not reckless, because we will have seen and responded to, we would have rushed in to meet the demands of love that are set before us.